Good morning, afternoon, evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome once again to another formal Friday. Let us get started right away with the winner of the last poll of the day. In the question of cats or dogs, dogs won pretty handily.
Why? Why would you say that? Why? Why? Why?
No, but in all seriousness, this really did not surprise me. I have cats, yes, and I love my cats, but I grew up owning dogs, so I totally understand. In today's poll of the day, silver or gold? For today's student learning goal, I can identify evidence in at-home reading of characterization and an unreliable narrator. Remember that an unreliable narrator is someone who, for whatever reason, their account of the story may not be completely accurate. This is the first student learning goal of May, so make sure that you have all of April's student learning goals filled in by the end of the day today for a grade. As of the filming of this video, the official plan is still to return to school in May. Just in case this changes, I am putting an SLG log in your OneNotes which fits our current Monday, Wednesday, Friday schedule all the way through May. If we do return to school during the month, then we'll edit them at that time in class together, leaving space for student learning goals every day of the week. Getting into the story for today, now living in a relative period of normalcy at Grandma Smith's house, the Walls family experienced a starting period of relative peace and prosperity. Now, a content warning for today's reading before we get into it. I want to take this moment to remind you that this is not just a novel, this is a memoir. That means that this is a real-life account. It's Jeanette Walls' actual life story. These things really happened to her and are not a work of fiction. In today's reading, Jeanette's going to share a personal experience which is both tragic and deplorable, and which is all too, unfortunately, real. Such topics of child abuse and molestation disgust me. And so I want you to just be prepared for an emotional response going into reading what we're going to be reading today. In fact, you should have an emotional response to this. I also want to remind you all that I am available to talk if you are bothered by this content, and that your guidance counselors here at the school are also still available. Reach out to us if you feel that you need to share something. I also wish I could say that this is a one-time thing in the novel The Glass Castle, but this type of abuse will, unfortunately, appear again later on in the reading. So, with the mature content warning in place, pause the video in a few moments and read from pages 101 to 109. Welcome back now to the video. So today we see more evidence of the flaws in Rex and Rosemary's parenting. Or the lack thereof sometimes. See, in an effort to keep their un-air-conditioned house cool, Rex and Rosemary purposely leave all the windows and doors open at night. They do this even though they live in a bad neighborhood of the city, and there are lots of unsavory characters around. They've even found drunk strangers and homeless people sleeping in their living room at times. Yet Rex and Rosemary still leave doors open at night, with 4 children in the house. This is why Jeanette, who is about 9 years old at this point in the story, wakes to a strange man touching her inappropriately one night. She's able to push him away, and she chases him out of the house with her brother Brian and a hatchet, but it still happened. Surely this would be enough to convince Rex and Rosemary to close and lock up the house at night. But no! Okay, I have been very forgiving of the Walls family and the way that they're raising their children up until this point. Been trying not to describe them as good or bad because I know those are subjective terms and good and bad change depending on who you are and what experiences you've had in life. However, when I first read this part, I was downright angry at the irresponsibility of Rex, which at this point I cannot describe in any other way but being stupidity. It is not just irresponsible, but stupid for both Rex and Rosemary to leave their children vulnerable like this, especially with what happened to Jeanette, being unforgivable. I know they say it's about not giving in to fear, and we could start an hours-long debate about this and about how this parallels Americans giving up freedoms for feelings of safety in this modern world. But focusing on this, a father with children that he refuses to protect with such a basic method as a door lock, is baffling. This irresponsibility continues to the surprise of no one reading the story, when Rex continues to act belligerently towards his wife's religious views, and then brings his children to the zoo, where he brings Jeanette past the chain link fence and allows her to touch a cheetah. Of course, they are then kicked out of the zoo. Now, I'm not so blinded by my anger at the Wall's parents right now that I'm unable to see how some people, including young Jeanette, do not blame Rex for his views on wild animals. So that is today's discussion question, to answer in one note. Do you think that letting Jeanette pet the cheetah was a good thing or a bad thing? Explain your answer. See, Jeanette, who is a child at this point in the story, sees this as a positive, as a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to pet a cheetah. Can any of you say that you've ever pet a cheetah? So choose a side and explain your answer in today's discussion question, which you'll find in OneNote under 5.1 discussion question. Today's reading was a little shorter than average because you should remember to still finish Article Analysis 13 by the end of the day today. That does it for today's video, everyone. Remember to look at Dude Perfect's Quarantine Stereotypes video if you have not yet done so, and hopefully have a fun and fantastic weekend. I'll see you on Monday.